It's a spectacular night in Boise. The locals can't believe how nice it has been here. And the Boise State Broncos, fresh off a thrilling rivalry win last week over Fresno State, tonight hosting Bronco Mendenhall and BYU on the Blue. Welcome to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's. And our matchup tonight on this Friday night in Boise, the BYU Cougars on the road to take on the Broncos of Boise State. Hi everyone, Dave Fleming alongside David Diaz-Infante. Allison Williams is with us here as well as we get ready to start another big weekend in college football. And Tuesday is looming, David. There's a lot of intrigue because the College Football Playoff Committee will release its first rankings on Tuesday. A lot of us are wondering exactly what those are going to look like.
Yeah, a lot of questions, and really it's going to be our first insight into the thought process of the committee members. What things do they value, what metrics are they looking at, and which one-loss team they put in there. Everyone's on their toes.
And for the committee, it's not all about just those top 4 spots. It's also the New Year's 6 bowl games. And one team from the so-called group of 5 will be there. And that could include these Boise State Broncos, because Boise State is playing a lot better here, David. There are some other teams having good seasons, but I think the Broncos think they're positioned pretty well.
Well, I think they have that kind of name out in the community. They have the record. I think strength of schedule will be something to look at. You think of East Carolina and Marshall, but Boise State, they've got the name and they're trending the right way right now.
So one of those teams is guaranteed a spot from those conferences in those New Year's 6 bowl games. Jay and Jai and Boise State hoping they can be that team. He'll get the ball quite a bit here tonight on the Blue as the Broncos host BYU. Kickoff next.
ESPN College Football Primetime is brought to you by Wells Fargo. When people talk, great things happen. Enterprise Rent-A-Car, official partner of the NCAA, and AT&T, mobilizing your world.
That's all you gotta do. Finish with relentless effort. You're gonna put the balls on their back. You're gonna put that ball in that end zone. You're gonna put the other end zone. Let me get a...
Well, it does feel like the Broncos are ready to go. We'll see about BYU. It's been a trying 3 weeks for the Cougars. Injuries, 3 consecutive losses. For more on the attrition for BYU, let's welcome in Allison Williams.
Dave, BYU's loss of their dynamic dual threat quarterback Taysom Hill is certainly the biggest injury blow they've been dealt, but it is far from the only one. Take a look in their backfield, where you already have the loss of 2 guys unable to make the trip because of injury. Their leading rusher at tailback, Jamal Williams, missed the last 2 games with an ankle injury. He is able to play tonight, although in a limited role. Bronco Mendenhall telling me before the game that Jamal says he feels good, but he's being optimistic. Injuries also mounting on the defensive side of the ball. Linebacker Alani Fua missed the last 2 games also with an ankle injury. They're hoping to get about 30 plays from him tonight, but the Cougars will take it. They consider him to be their best pro prospect.
And thank you to Allison. Just sort of soaking it in here as we get ready for kickoff. Good crowd, loud crowd, lots of enthusiasm. BYU did win the toss, and they elect to defer. So they're going to kick it off deep to the Broncos of Boise State. And the kickoff will be taken at around the 5-yard line and brought out across the 20. And dragged down, maybe with a face mask involved. Here comes a penalty flag. Jeremy McNichols with the return. And I'm guessing that penalty is on number 2. Dallin Levitt, who has been hurt, is back for tonight's game. And I thought he got a piece of the face mask.
During the return, personal foul, face mask, kicking team number 2. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
Well, really, looked like it was on both ways. In fact, Jeremy McNichols, the first guy to get his hand up into the face mask of Levitt, but the penalty against BYU, 15 yards. And Grant Hedrick, the quarterback for the Broncos, brings Boise State's offense onto the field.
Yeah, and he's a guy that keeps on getting better each week, improving, and especially in his leadership skills of taking charge of this offense and this football team.
You and I were here last week. The Broncos took down Fresno State, and he played well. Jay Ajayi, powerful running back across midfield, and his first carry of the game is a good one. First down, Broncos.
Ajayi, 158 yards last week. He is their horse. He's a volume carrier, too. The more carries he gets, boy, the better he gets in the run game.
17 yards on first down. Hedrick from the shotgun. Boise State will go quick tempo sometimes. The throw is caught. And another first down for Boise State. That is Shane Williams-Rhodes, who's not big but very quick and can be a big playmaker.
Yeah, he's the guy to try to get out in space, get him the ball in a variety of ways because of his quickness and big playability.
2 plays, 2 big chunks for the Broncos offense. First and 10, Boise State. And that tempo does tend to vary, doesn't it, David? They'll get to the line quickly, then look to the sideline for a play call. It's not always fast, fast, fast. Hedrick swings it out right side. Pass caught and getting to the corner beautifully. Along the sideline and finally knocked out of bounds. Chaz Anderson. They want him involved in the offense. That's one way to get him involved.
Yeah, they felt like he didn't get the ball last week at all, and they want to make sure they got him touches early because of this kind of ability. Seeing patience, reading his blocks, getting the ball out in space.
So 3 plays for Boise State, 17 yards, 16 yards. That one 25 yards, and it's first and goal. Ajayi into the backfield, a little option type play, and he pitches it forward. Hedrick does to the tight end, Holden Huff, who is inside the 3, down to the 2-yard line. Red zone offense for Boise State has been very good the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it was a point of emphasis since the Air Force game. They've worked on it. They've slowed their tempo down, wanted to be more deliberate in this area. A good example of that right there, a little shovel pass to the tight end.
So second and goal from the 2. And they do have that ultimate red zone weapon with Jay Ajayi, number 27, who's got 10 rushing touchdowns on the year. They play fake to him, and a lob over the top, incomplete. Intended for a Huff, and he got tangled up with the defense, fell down. Otherwise, that might have been an easy one.
Yeah, you'll see Huff. He's trying to disguise block, but he did too good of a job of it and kind of stumbled in the end zone.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. I said he got tangled up. I'm not sure anyone touched him.
I think the turf got him.
The blue, well, in this case, the orange of the end zone. Third and goal. Hedrick maybe making a change at the line under center. Ajayi gets it this time and slips and falls. He goes down and lost a yard or so to make it 4th and goal, and we'll see. Broncos look like they're going to send out the kick team. The holder, number 19, Sean Whale, who is the punter. Ajayi just lost his footing there right after getting a handoff. There is Dan Goodale, the place kicker, for what will be just about identical to an extra point try. 21 yards officially. Goodale had a nice week last week. The hold, kick up and good. Well, Boise State goes down the field at first and goal, but they have to settle for the field goal. The Broncos take a 3-0 lead. Well, we talk a lot about the blue, focusing mostly on the color, David, but 2 plays in a row there inside the 5-yard line. The turf was a problem for the Broncos.
Yeah, you'll see the tight end Huff in the end zone, and then Ajayi right in the backfield just slipping. And the tragic thing about that, those are 2 lost opportunities to score a touchdown in the red zone. Something they've been doing so well for the past few weeks.
Well, you can see how frustrated Jay Ajayi is. The junior from Plano, Texas, who is an NFL prospect, is having a big year, a big game tonight, and he'll go over 1,000 yards for the season. He's got a couple touchdowns through the air, 10 on the ground. He is their workhorse, but not that time. Ajayi and company settle for 3. So in some ways, that's good news for a struggling BYU defense to hold the Broncos to 3. After the impressive first drive of 60 yards on 7 plays. Kickoff from Goodale. And that one will be taken by Lasike, who trips himself. So something's going on with the turf tonight. The Blues making some tackles out there.
Unassisted tackles as well.
And Christian Stewart, who's become such a big story for BYU. Taysom Hill out for the year, broken leg against Utah State. And Stewart trying to take over this offense, starting for the 3rd time in his career, and the first play carry goes nowhere. Lasike gets the ball, had nowhere to run.
That's a matchup to watch. Bo Martin, their defensive lineman, against that offensive line of BYU. 3 freshmen starting up front.
Stewart had a nice game against Nevada, best game of his career, and BYU feels like he's ready to go, ready to put some points on the board tonight, even on the road. Throws short to the tight end Devin Mahina. An immediate tackle. Forward progress out to the 20 to set up 3rd down.
Well, it's really been a transition as a play caller too, Robert and I as well. Finding out what his quarterback does well. So much of the offense went through Taysom Hill. He can make everybody right and make up for things as they go along. But right here, they're throwing the ball a lot more, and he is getting more comfortable with it. Christian Stewart.
3rd down and 6. Stewart looking left, now scrambling, throws, and it's incomplete. Mahina, I thought, had a chance to catch that one, and it might have been short anyway, but incomplete. 4th down. BYU will punt. So pressure definitely impacted that play.
But that's right. Boise State will attack the quarterback, and that's number 40, Armand Nance. Again, affected that throw a little bit as Stewart tries to escape. The ball was low and away. Ball placement wasn't there. Tough catch. Maybe he had a chance to make that.
Well, we saw Armand Nance with the pregame speech to his teammates on the field. Scott Ariano, the punter, with a booming low punt. Way back there. Shane Williams-Rhodes with the return. Flag thrown to the 35 and out of bounds. Likely against the Broncos. What a punt. Now a hat flies, another penalty flag, so we got all kinds of stuff going on. But this officiating crew, headed by the referee Reggie Smith, will have to sort out. 56-yard punt. And we'll see about the penalty. Reggie Smith, we appreciate him. He's usually an official who will get on the microphone and tell us exactly what happened. He likes to talk.
A detailed explanation.
Which I think is good for everybody. Good for broadcasters, good for fans, good for coaches. But there were a couple different things going on in this place, so they got to sort through all of that.
Hats and flags and
maybe take out the notebook, start writing a few notes down before you set everybody straight. This crew that swings between the Mountain West, the Big 12. They cover a few conferences here in this general part of the country. There's Brian Harsin, first-year head coach in the great tradition of Boise State head coaches. He played here. He grew up in this town. And there is huge expectation for him.
There are multiple fouls on the play. During the return, illegal block in the back, receiving team, number 22. That'll be a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. After the play, personal foul, late hit kicking team, personal foul, receiving team, number 44. Those dead ball fouls will offset. It's 1st and 10.
So you've got 2 offsetting personal fouls, the holding penalty, the net result. Not great field position for Jay Ajayi and the Boise State offense as they come out on the field. When we come back, Broncos up early by 3. Now, these two schools only separated by 387 miles. We don't recommend you drive this fast if you're coming from Provo to Boise, but this is what it would have looked like earlier this afternoon if you wanted to make the drive up the interstate from Utah into Idaho. Beautiful Friday on the blue. Boise State gets the ball for the 2nd time now. And Hedrick, their quarterback, in the shotgun with the Broncos leading 3-0. And a handoff. McNichols cut back middle, and he made something out of nothing there. The true freshman Jeremy McNichols, who, David, is one of our impact players.
Shane Williams-Rhodes and Jeremy McNichols. Also, guys get things done in space. Big explosive plays. It'll be up to Kafusi and Nakua, who's their safety. Had a great game last week. Also their backup quarterback this week.
Kai Nakua, number 12, is serving a couple roles for this very thin and injured BYU team. Here's McNichols again into the open field with that burst of speed, and you can see why they think he can be a true impact guy, the true freshman from Long Beach with a big play.
And you'll see BYU blitzing off the corner right there. And Boise State's going to hit the swing pass out there. Wide receivers blocking, take advantage of the pressure by BYU. And
because that ball went backwards, that is officially a run play for Jeremy McNichols. They'll get him the ball in a number of different ways. Ajayi now, the more traditional handoff. And the big guy hangs on to the ball. Fumbles have always been a problem for him, and I bet you'll see BYU try to get the ball away.
Yeah, you see number 90, Bronson Kafusi, again, is trying to strip the football right there, raking at it, and you saw the ball security by Ajayi.
He is a tremendous talent. Well, both of those guys are, the running back and the defensive player, but Ajayi's one big issue these last few years, taking care of the ball. And turnovers have plagued Boise State this year. A 5-2 team that is playing well. Ajayi cutting it back left side, and he sort of slipped there on the turf as he tried to make a cut. And for a little more on that, let's go down to Allison Williams.
I spoke with some people from stadium operations here, and they said that everything was status quo when it came to the preparation of the turf. It is artificial turf. They do water it, though. They watered it today at about 2 o'clock. That's just to help make it a harder playing surface. They also said they checked it at 6 o'clock, and it was fine. But keep in mind, guys, we've had more moisture in the area recently. It did rain all day yesterday and this morning, so perhaps that's made it slick.
Well, that's good info. And David, when you and I were on the field before the game, we both noticed it felt a little funky.
Felt a little different.
There was something a little different about it. Hedrick in the shotgun. Maybe some room to run. He can scramble. Nice cut. He'll get the first down. Into BYU territory, down to the 40. Grant Hedrick has been doing that a lot lately.
Great protection by the offensive line, but BYU nowhere to go with the football. The secondary right in sync there, and he makes a great decision of tucking the ball and running.
11-yard scramble for the first down. Boise State on the move, leading 3-0. Their 5th first down of this first quarter. Ajayi motions into the backfield, and they will fake the ball to him. Hedrick keeps it, and Hedrick with a flag down takes a hit inside the 35 down to about the 33.
Holding. Offense, number 66. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Well, the big guy up front, number 66, Mario Yaku.
You'll see big Yaku right there. He's a big guy. You'll see him grab and hold and restrict the defensive player. That official will call that every time.
There was a nice clear lane for the official to throw that flag. See the penalty. So Yaku, the 10-yard penalty, back to midfield. It is first down and 20 yards to go for Boise State. Two receivers right. Ajayi gets the ball. Running left side. BYU so far pretty stout in the run defense. And another flag thrown right at the end of that play.
Boy, it looks like it might be another face mask.
So Reggie Smith and company, they've been busy in the first few minutes of this one.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, 15 yards from the end of the run, first down.
Well, they didn't give us a number. We'll see if we can see who committed the penalty.
You'll see as BYU's attempting a gang tackle and grabs it. There it is, right there. Looks like it was Craig Bills.
totally unnecessary. The play was basically over. Bills just jumped on the pile like he was trying to commit the penalty. That was not a good play for BYU. Here comes some pressure. Hedrick will be dragged down. Tried to get away. Dallin Levitt, the safety, who's back healthy this week. A sack for the BYU defense.
And you'll see BYU bringing pressure right off the edge. The inside linebacker and the safety getting the sack. Red zone pressure, a big part of BYU's defense.
And they mix up their pressures, their blitz packages. Now a penalty as Boise State gets set to run the play. The flags are flying here.
Illegal substitution, offense, 12 men in the formation, 5-yard penalty. It's second down.
So somebody did not count.
Well, that's one thing that Boise always does and has done before. Lots of personnel groups, lots of shifting and motions, and so that can happen sometimes.
So the product of the complications of what is a very sophisticated Boise State offense. 2nd and 17. We've sort of gone back and forth with all the penalties in this sequence. Hedrick all alone in the backfield. Looking middle. He's got a man wide open, caught. First down, more inside the 20. That's Thomas Spurbeck with the catch and run. Down to the 14-yard line. First down, Broncos.
And Thomas Spurbeck's role in this offense has grown. He's just a sophomore, but boy, he understands the route concepts, has a knack for getting open and making plays.
He's sort of taken the place of Matt Miller, one of the great receivers in the history of Boise State, whose career is over because of injury. Ajayi gets the ball on first down. Stacked up at the 12 when the whistle blows. A couple yards for Ajayi. Matt Miller, the senior from Montana, who is banged up in a couple different ways. Just this week had another surgery on his thumb. So the leg problem from before, the ankle problem, now a thumb injury.
He's getting everything fixed up.
Might as well get it all fixed. Get ready for the NFL Combine because he's a prospect. Hedrick runs inside the 5 and he walks in the end zone. Touchdown, Boise State. A 12-yard scramble for Grant Hedrick. The extra point coming. Boise State's offense has gone right down the field twice in this first quarter. Settled for a field goal first drive. This time the touchdown and the extra point. It's 10-0 Broncos.
Grant Hedrick showing his scrambling ability. Good quick decision. Leads to 7 points for Boise State. They go up 10-0.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Jimmy John's Great Sandwich Delivery and in part by Dr. Pepper, always one of a kind.
A pretty cool look inside the car of Hannah Newhouse, who is 17 years old. She is a freshman here at Boise State, awarded a scholarship to attend the university while allowing her to continue her race car career. One of 20 drivers, one of 11 women in the NASCAR Drive for Diversity program, and a student at Boise State. And maybe cheering on her Broncos here tonight, who have a 10-0 first quarter lead.
You know she is on Friday night.
That offense has been NASCAR speed for Boise State already. BYU with the kick return and a big hit at the 10 with a penalty flag thrown. My goodness. Garrett Juergens just got knocked over by the sophomore linebacker Darren Lee. He was a very good special teams player. Well, waiting to see what the penalty is.
There are fouls by both teams. Offside, kicking team, number 44. During the return, block in the back, receiving team number 30. The foul's offset, re-kick.
Well, for Darren Lee, the tackle gets negated, but we need to take another look anyway. It was a heck of a play.
Fighting off the blocker, running full speed. You got to love that.
He might have been the player being held.
Yeah.
The flag might have been thrown on the Cougars player trying to block him. This time he'll try to stay onside. They will kick once again from the 35.
This is where you earn your stripes right here on special teams. Show them that you want to find a way to get on the field.
Well, they like him. They got a group of young linebackers. He's one of them, who they think can be the core of Boise State's defense for the next several years. Goodale will kick deep. And this time, I'm imagining Garrett Juergens is just going to take a knee. And he does. So that gives us a chance to remind you that tomorrow, 11th ranked Kansas State playing so well, trying to stay unbeaten in the Big 12, hosting Texas. We'll get you started right away. College football presented by Cars.com. Texas at K-State Saturday at noon on ESPN and also on Watch ESPN. K-State coming off that impressive win on the road in Norman against the Sooners. They got an argument as the best team in that very deep conference. Well, a flag before the play. That's going to be against BYU.
False start. Offense, number 80.
So the Cougars, the offense has been a little shaky in the early going.
False start. Offense, number 84. 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
Well, Reggie Smith wanted to clear things up. That penalty was against the tight end, Mahina. And the students are rocking here on the blue. First and 15. Handoff, Lasike, nowhere to go. A little more on that Texas K-State matchup. Let's go down to Allison Williams.
Texas facing a solid Kansas State defense, but the Longhorns offense much improved. Our field analyst Tom Luganville telling me quarterback Tyrone Swoops has made huge strides, and it's his improvement as a runner and passer, along with the play of Jonathan Gray and Malcolm Brown, makes them dangerous.
Stewart throwing, and the pass caught right near the 30-yard line. Mitch Matthews, who's been their big play wide receiver, looks like the spot short of that 30.
Well, he is 6'6", and he is a matchup nightmare out on the perimeter.
Coming off a huge game, the best of his career. He caught 16 passes last week in Reno against Nevada. Now, another flag.
False start. Offense, number 57. 5-yard penalty. It's third down.
Well, BYU having some real problems. Boise State has 10 points. They've got 8 first downs. BYU has 13 total yards in this game. And they got to get the offense going here. 4:29 to go. Quarter number 1, 3rd and 11. Stewart incomplete, too high. BYU looking for a targeting type foul. Matthews arguing for it himself. But the pass is incomplete. It's 4th down.
We'll see Dylan Sumner Gardner come in. Helmet, face mask right into the shoulder. Didn't look like he led with his head.
Yeah,
with the crown of his helmet.
If you lead with the crown of your helmet, that can be one of those targeting penalties. That might fall in the category of pretty close. But no flag. Scott Ariano will punt for the 2nd time. And it's going to bounce on the blue and take a BYU bounce down near the 30. It'll stop at the 31. Friday night football here in Boise, Idaho. What a night. And the Broncos off to the quick start, leading 10-0. A big crowd, a full house here tonight in Boise, and the Broncos with a 10-0 lead. 4:12 to go, quarter number 1. Dave Fleming, David Diaz-Infante, Allison Williams on the blue in Boise, the home of the Broncos. And it's been the Broncos offense which has really been excellent. 2 drives, 2 scores, 136 total yards, and they get the ball for a 3rd time.
Yeah, nice balance, explosive plays, running the football and pushing the ball downfield.
Grant Hedrick and company, and they got into a rhythm last week. This is a confident group right now. They play particularly well at home. Big challenge for BYU. Ajayi straight ahead running. Sort of stumbled forward across to the 33. Gain of a yard, maybe 2, depending on where they spot the ball.
Yeah, it looked like Ajayi stumbled again.
That has been the line of scrimmage. It has been a problem on both sides in this first quarter. The turf making some tackles.
Lots of pressure coming off the edge.
That's Fred Warner, who is a freshman. BYU thinks he's been playing well, getting more and more playing time. And he does come off the edge and couldn't quite get Ajayi down. He broke 2 tackles finally. Dragged down by Sky Povey. Backup safety for BYU, gain of 4.
And that was Fred Warner coming off the edge. The pressure was there. Those are opportunities you can't miss. Tackles for a loss, trying to get Boise State behind the sticks, and off schedule in terms of the play calling.
Well, they do like him. Very young player, inexperienced, but just did not make the play there. And now it's 3rd and 6. Tight end Rowe in motion. Some more pressure coming. Picked up. The throw is caught. And the tackle right away. It's going to depend on the spot. And I think forward progress is going to give Rowe and Boise State the first down. And it will.
Well, there's 2 things that happen there. BYU brings pressure again. Boise State picks it up. And their tight end, Jake Rowe, runs the route at the right depth and makes the catch for the first down.
So first down for Boise State. That's already their 9th in this first quarter. Hedrick throws short middle and the catch and drop.
On the field is an incomplete pass. It's 2nd down.
And Reggie Smith was quick on the microphone. The play was hardly over, but an incomplete pass. And yeah, I don't think he ever had it.
He didn't maintain possession of that ball. It was in and out of the hands of Holden Huff.
They do like their tight ends. They have about 6 of them who
They've
get
got a good group
time.
of them.
And they believe that those tight ends can be a bigger and bigger part of the Boise State offense. 2nd and 10 Broncos from their own 41. Hedrick to Ajayi. Nice hole, but it closed quickly. Well, this Cougars defense expected to be so stout this year. They have been beat up, but these last few weeks not great. Their defensive-minded head coach, Bronco Mendenhall, and David, he's sort of taken charge of that defense this week.
He's getting a little bit more involved. They've had a lot of inexperienced young players playing back there. They're trying to simplify things while still being aggressive, so his young guys can play fast.
Well, whether he's making all the calls or whether the defensive coordinator, Nick Howell, is still involved in that, don't know. Kafusi has his arms wrapped around Hedrick, and the whistle blew. And I guess the knee was down.
Down by Rowe. It's 4th down.
The whistle came pretty fast. Hedrick thought the play was still alive. The fans not real happy. Bronson Kafusi was there. Well, they definitely blew the whistle saying the knee was down. I'm not totally sure.
That's Bronco Mendenhall right there. 3rd down, some money down where they bring their exotic pressures, and just a great effort by Kafusi to not quit on the play.
So that's a big stop. First of the game for the BYU defense. Mitchell Juergens back to receive the punt from Sean Whale. Juergens, no fair catch. Signori muffs it. Ball on the blue, and the Broncos have it. Special teams turnover. And Charles Bertoli there to pounce on the ball.
The receiving team recovered by the kicker. First down.
And what a big mistake for BYU.
And you'll see Juergens back there. No fair catch. He's just a sophomore. Deep into their own territory.
Really a nice job by Bertoli to get on that loose football.
Yeah, great coverage by Boise State and Bertoli.
Mitchell's brother Garrett Juergens was there trying to get that loose football. So inside the 15, and a flag thrown before the play.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense number 85. 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
And 1st and 15 after the false start on the tight end Holden Huff. They also fired their own cannon. The Broncos did. Yeah, that is
awfully
not supposed
close
to happen.
to the snap.
Well, it's
Well,
not
it made me
supposed.
jump too.
Yeah. I think we got to talk about the procedure over there.
Misfire.
So let's make sure that doesn't happen again. Now whistles.
First charge timeout, Boise
Timeout
State.
for Boise State. Well, the head coach Brian Harsin pleased with how this first quarter is going, I'm sure, but that cannon brigade over there might have surprised the head coach a little bit and did not make him happy. Boise State with the 10-0 lead. Well, a big game tomorrow night in the SEC. Unbeaten third-ranked Ole Miss on the road into Death Valley to take on LSU. It's ESPN College Football Primetime presented by Hampton Hotels. Ole Miss LSU 7:15 Eastern tomorrow night on ESPN. After the turnover in special teams, 1st and 15 for the Broncos, and a pitch back. Chaz Anderson, a one-man miss, not the second. Good tackle by Jeremiah Leuta-Duyer.
I was wondering if something was up after the timeout. Last week, a reverse pass to the quarterback by Spurbeck kind of turned the tide against Fresno.
And it was in this part of the field. Boise State has a lot of trick plays in their arsenal. They tried a variant of one there. Didn't work. But 2nd and 16, McNichols empties the backfield. Hedrick pressured immediately, stepped up, now trying to run. Cutting it back middle, not a bad job by Hedrick to scamper inside the 15. Got down to the 14-yard line.
BYU bringing pressure, this time right up the middle. Again, he slips on the turf.
Travis Tuilomo just came almost untouched up the middle, and you're right, he slipped.
And Hedrick just slippery enough.
Boise State can get a first down at the 3-yard line, so it's not 3rd and goal, it's 3rd and 11. Could be the final play of this quarter. Now a little slant pattern and a tackle inside the 10 as Shane Williams-Rhodes just had no room to maneuver. Again, BYU's going to hold here in this part of the field and force a field goal try when we come back on Friday night in Boise. Well, back here in Boise, start of quarter number 2, and the Broncos with a 10-0 lead. They really dominated the first 15 minutes of this game. Mitchell Juergens, who put the ball on the blue turf, a special teams turnover that sets up this opportunity. First play of the second quarter, and it's a field goal try for Dan Goodale from the right hash, which is a spot on the field which has given him some problems, although he feels like he's corrected those troubles. And just a 25-yard attempt. So the Broncos will get all lined up. Sean Whale, their punter, has done a nice job holding some shaky snaps. That snap was perfect, and the kick is also perfect. So it's 13-10, Boise State with the lead just 4 seconds into quarter number 2. All right, it's Friday night, part of our tradition here on Friday Night College Football. We use the hashtag Show Me Something. What are we talking about? We're looking forward to a player, a coach, a team, a unit, whatever. Somebody on Saturday. We're looking forward to a performance. And how about the Ole Miss quarterback having a great year, David Bo Wallace?
Taking care of the football, throwing touchdowns, not turning it over. Can he do it on the road as the pressure gets greater week to week in a hostile environment against a surging LSU that thinks they played their best football game last week? Bo Wallace, show me something.
Well, I mean, the evidence would say, yeah, right? He's played great. He's silenced a lot of the critics, Bo Wallace has, in these first few weeks of the season. But it is a different challenge going on the road under the lights, Death Valley, not easy.
Yeah, the pressure keeps mounting week to week as the expectations rise. And I tell you what, that place at night It's one of the toughest environments in college football.
Use that hashtag. Show me something. Give us your idea of a player, a coach, somebody you're looking forward to seeing something from in tomorrow's slate of college action. Now the Broncos feeling good about things so far. Beautiful 54-degree night in Boise to kick off. And returnable for Garrett Juergens. And tackled that same special team star, the linebacker Darren Lee, with the tackle short of the 20-yard line. Friday focus. It is a Friday night, so what are those teams doing on Friday getting ready for those big games? Well, Ole Miss in Tupelo got on the airplane heading there, which looks a lot different at night, packed full of folks. And our game day crew is there as well as the Tigers get ready to host the third-ranked team in the country, Ole Miss.
Well, the Land Sharks, that defense, boy, they are fast and furious.
Now BYU's offense needs to get it going. A nightmare first quarter. A little pump fake from Stewart. He's going deep down the sideline and incomplete. Intended for Mitch Matthews. Led him a little too far.
When you have a wide receiver that's 6'6" and has that length and range advantage on the perimeter, you got to give him a chance to make a play on the ball. Underthrown ball is better than a ball thrown over his head where he has no chance at it.
So 2nd and 10 BYU. Stewart looking to throw middle, and he zips it in there behind his intended target. The wide receiver, that's Ross Oppo, incomplete, 3rd down. Well, how about this first quarter, David, for BYU's offense? 13 total yards. As a team, they also lost 40 yards on penalties. They still have not had a first down in this game.
And they had over 600 yards total offense last week, and they lost in Nevada.
3rd and 10. Stewart pressured, buying time, and forced out of bounds. Right near the line of scrimmage, just nowhere to go with the football. And BYU's frustrations on offense continue. They will be forced to punt. Good pressure by Correa. So it's a combination of BYU's offense not playing well and that Broncos defense is playing well. Yeah, the game clock will get rolling here. 3rd consecutive 3-and-out for BYU. Scott Ariano to Shane Williams-Rhodes. Standing at about his own 40. He's going to have to retreat, though. Signals fair catch and lets it go over his head. What a punt. Bouncing on the blue all the way down near the 5-yard line. My goodness. Yeah, Ariano, you could celebrate that one. What a punt. Tremendous job by the BYU special teams. Let's check in with the studio with Chris Cotter.
All right, Dave, let's go to Paul Brown Stadium. Cincinnati taking on South Florida over on ESPN2. Munchie Legault, remember him hurting his leg last year, coming back. His first rushing touchdown since. It's 27-10. Cincy on top. David?
All right, thanks, Chris. I guess it tells you something about how this game has gone for BYU. That's their best play of the night. It was a punt, and it was a really good one. 76 yards and no return. The 2nd longest punt in college football so far this year. Ajayi straight ahead out into the open. And Jay Ajayi across the 20. I'm sure he was seeing a lot of blue straight ahead, but tripped up at about the 22.
And you'll see BYU attacking the line of scrimmage, but look at that blocking. He's going to split the hole right up the middle of the defense.
A big tackle by Sky Pove, the safety. Otherwise, who knows how long Ajayi goes. 1st and 10, Broncos. Hedrick fakes the handoff. Back to pass, takes a hit. He's got his man open. Spurred back, caught. Trying to angle for the pylon to the 20, to the 10. He'll get there. Touchdown. The punt was 76. The touchdown pass, 78 yards for Boise State, and they are taking it to BYU. Thomas Spurbeck and company just torching the Cougars defense. 2 plays, 94 yards. And another point after try for Dan Goodale. Up and good. Wow, the Boise State offense has been impressive.
Boise State attacking through the air. It's a sophomore, Thomas Spurbeck, taking it to the house.
Yeah, you can be pumped about that one, Grant. 20-0 Broncos. Well, the Broncos mascot getting a workout in the first half. We got a long way to go until halftime. 13:31 left in the second quarter. Cheer squad added to 20-0. Boise State over BYU. Dave Fleming, David Diaz-Infante, Allison Williams. And another kick return for Garrett Juergens. This time a little bit of room. And outside the 30, out near the 35. Let's take another look at that long Boise State touchdown.
Yeah, you'll see, you live by pressure, you die by pressure. You're going to see pressure coming off the slot, and you're going to see Spurbeck come up the field, little fake inside, and go right past the safety for a big play. Great job of putting air on the football, giving his receiver a chance to make that play. Even a better job of taking a hit after he delivered that football.
Well, Jamal Williams finally getting a touch and a carry for a positive gain for BYU. Let's go down to Allison Williams.
BYU looking a bit dejected here on the sideline. Coaches are trying to make them keep fighting. Offensive line coach Garrett Tujay told his unit, it's a matter of will. You have to dig deep. Your will must be greater than theirs. It's the only way we dig out of this hole.
Little swing pass. Williams will be tackled after a very short gain. Out to the 39. Darian Thompson, the safety, who's played well, number 4 for the Broncos.
Good job of making an open field tackle with the right leverage.
And you do see that was a good look at how quickly the defense does have to get reset after a play is over against this high-tempo offense. 3rd and 6. Stewart, first down. So BYU finally has a first down. I guess you can point if you wait this long. Colby Pearson with the catch. Boise State with almost 250 yards, 20 points before BYU gets a first down in this game. Stewart with all the time in the world and finally has to dump it off short. It is a catch again to Pearson, the Idaho native, the sophomore.
Christian Stewart all day long to throw there. They dropped 8 in coverage, but no one can hold up that long.
A gain of 6, 2nd and 4 into Boise State territory for the first time, and a handoff without anywhere to go. Good tackle by Matt Bozen, the redshirt freshman. He's been making a lot of plays lately for Boise State. Nate Carter in a tailback, and he'll stay in for this 3rd down and 4 play. There goes Carter. Stewart, a pump fake, throws, and the pass caught inside the 40 to the 39. He gets the first down. Jordan Leslie, who ordinarily is a big part of the BYU offense, that's his first catch of the night.
A big one. Keep the sticks moving. They got to try to get some rhythm going offensively. We do that by staying on the field.
Well, there's a long way to go in this game. If BYU can get something positive happening, who knows? Play fake. Stewart rolling left. Squares his shoulders and goes down the field. Tipped up, incomplete. And I think the receiver, Mitch Matthews, ended up playing some defense.
Mitch Matthews was a quarterback's best friend right there. Christian Stewart threw that ball in bad body position. And you'll see Matthews come up. He became a defender.
Cleyshawn Page, the senior defensive back, had a chance to pick that one off. Here's Williams, who is a very talented runner, who's not been healthy, and you can see him try to help his BYU team get going.
They need to get him going. When you lose Taysom Hill, that's such a big part of your running game. They're trying to fill that void, and Williams healthy helps them do that.
A junior from Southern California, 8-yard rush. 3rd and 2. Stewart's going to keep it, and Stewart, I think he got there. Will depend on the spot. I'll sort through this. Stop the clock, take a look, say first down. Well, the ball, it did almost look like the ball came out. Let's see if we can see. Yeah, he lost it, and Williams was actually the guy who pounced on the ball. So it did come out, hit the blue, but Williams was there. Now the handoff. Lasike is a tough runner. Powers forward for a couple yards, maybe 3.
Christian Stewart had a fumbling issue last week in the 4th quarter. Turnovers late in that game turned the tide against Nevada.
Remember, this is a BYU team that, even with those turnover problems, had over 600 yards of offense last week on the road. Their offense is just finally getting going here tonight. Stewart pressured, but he gets rid of it. Lasike with some open turf and just lowers his shoulder and lowers the boom. He hit Darian Thompson hard, first down.
When you bring pressure, someone has to be responsible for the back. Looks like it might have been Vallejo supposed to peel when the back leaks out. Nice job of BYU taking advantage of the pressure of Boise State.
BYU had not had a first down all game. They have 4 on this drive. Stewart looking right, looking end zone, incomplete. And it really wasn't anywhere to go. Taryn Houck, the intended target, second down. Well, there is number 12, who is a safety, has played well on defense, but I think it's worth remembering Kai Nakua, he's the backup quarterback. They don't have another quarterback, essentially. Jamal Williams squirts into the open, and Williams end zone touchdown. Man, did BYU need that drive. The Cougars score for the first time tonight on the 17-yard touchdown run for Williams. And he was definitely a spark as the Cougars went 65 yards in 13 plays. Trevor Sampson, the place kicker. Kick is up and good. Well, BYU just getting dominated in this game. Finally, they get into the end zone.
Jamal Williams feeling it, bringing a little energy to this BYU offense.
We didn't know if Williams was going to play. He looks pretty healthy on that run. 20-7. That's the Boise State lead.
ESPN College Football Primetime is brought to you by Northwestern Mutual, proud to be an official corporate partner of the NCAA, and Voya Financial, changing the way you think of retirement.
Well, October is Buck Cancer Month here at Boise State University. Aside from all the research and actual work going on in the labs here on campus, also a student-driven initiative. Buck Cancer Month culminating in the student section pink out for tonight's BYU game, and the pink has had a lot to cheer for. Broncos playing well. You see the touches of pink in the uniforms for Boise State, but BYU with its first productive drive, first touchdown. Well, they will kick it back to the Broncos. 20-7 the score, 9:12 to go until halftime. Jeremy McNichols right near that pylon will bring it out. McNichols hit across the 20. That's where Boise State will take over. Celebrating its 10th year sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets. All-State makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kick. Since 2005, All-State has contributed more than $3.6 million in scholarship funds. Nighttime on this Friday night on the blue turf of Boise State. Broncos offense 245 yards in the first quarter and a half. Gets the ball once again. Jay Ajayi left side running with a big crease across the 30, and he's got the first down to the 34-yard line. 12 yards for the junior tailback.
Nothing fancy there, just running downhill by Boise State.
Now the former offensive lineman, you got to appreciate that.
Yeah, get the offensive lineman out there pulling.
Don't always need to be fancy. And Hendrick, the quarterback in the shotgun. This time to play fake. Looking downfield, he's got his man. That's Spurbeck again across midfield before he's finally tackled. And what a game. What a couple weeks for Thomas Spurbeck.
Well, when you run the ball effectively, now your play action game just takes off. And you'll see Spurbeck come back to the football.
Thomas Spurbeck, who's got 120 yards plus a touchdown already. A Wildcat pitch back play. It's the quarterback who gets it, and he completes the pass. Shane Williams rolls into the open field to the 10, to the end zone. Touchdown! Well, that counts as fancy. 26-7 after another big play.
They have a whole bag of tricks.
That has been the history in these last 2 decades, call it, of Boise State football. 78 yards once again, and Bronco Mendenhall just cannot believe it. His defense is getting torched. Another extra point, up and good. Did not take long for Boise State to answer, and they dug into that bag of tricks.
The old double pass. Again, the throw to Hedrick. He's going to look downfield to the wide open Shane Williams Rhodes. He can make things happen with the ball in his hands. Grant Hedrick loves it.
Well, how about J.T. Barrett and the way he is playing lately? Ohio State behind their quarterback in a Big Ten battle against Penn State tomorrow night, Saturday, 8 Eastern on ABC. Also available on Watch ESPN. Buckeyes just a different team since the first few weeks of the year.
The young quarterback growing up.
Big time. No Braxton Miller, and lately at least, no problem for Ohio State. No problem for Boise State here tonight. 27-7 with still 8 minutes to go until halftime. Jared Juergens will be tackled once again short of the 20. A little more on that Big Ten matchup. Here's Allison Williams.
Well, teams all across the country gathered in their hotels tonight to relax in advance of tomorrow's games. But Holly Rowe reporting that Penn State's defense watching a movie specially selected for them, Rocky III. The idea that going in tomorrow, their philosophy will be ain't so bad. It's not so bad after you get hard facing that explosive OSU offense. The mentality has to be next play, next series. That's what defensive coordinator Bob Shoop told her.
So we'll watch tomorrow, see how effective the movie was. Stewart out in the open. What a catch. Down the sideline and all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Colby Pearson. Now there is a flag on the play back near the line of scrimmage. And Stewart wants to know what it is. Tremendous play by the BYU offense. We'll see if it stands.
There is no foul for an eligible downfield on the pass. Result of the play is a touchdown.
So BYU's offense, Boise State has been the big play specialist tonight, but the Cougars break out one of their own, 81 yards. And Pearson, the kid from Blackfoot, Idaho, coming home and playing big.
Christian Stewart laying it out there for him. Easy catch and run, and that's a dimension he gives this offense. Instead of run because they have to be so careful with how he handles the ball and runs with the football because he's their only quarterback they got. So they ask him to throw it off the run fake.
Sampson extra point up and good. So not so fast, not a blowout yet. BYU's offense has come to life. First 3 drives, not so good. Last 2, pretty darn good. Cougars trying to hang around in Boise. Well, we're back here, ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Jimmy John's. BYU, 300-plus miles away from home, taking on the Boise State Broncos. Christian Stewart and the Cougars offense has come to life. This game a little different the last time BYU was here, 2012, so a couple seasons ago. The final score, Boise won 7-6. So we got a different style game here tonight, that's for sure. Still 7:47 to go in the first half. 27-14. Dave Fleming, David Diaz Infante. Much shorter kickoff, and it's going to bounce on the blue. McNichols, a high bounce, and he'll take it left side and get forced out of bounds across the 20-yard line. Okay, so after a kickoff, the tee is out in the middle of the field. Here's what happens with the GoPro. The Labrador, go get it. Yeah, we couldn't show you the whole GoPro camera. You might have had to turn it off. A little excited to get that tee and bring it back to the sideline.
Where's my treat now? Little Scooby snack.
Wait a minute, can't eat the tee. Let go. Broncos offense back on the field. Tee is safely on the sideline. 1st and 10. Boise State at their own 23-yard line. Hedrick to Ajayi. Right side running, and he'll get it out to the 27. Pretty fun job. You get that tee, okay, then you walk over to the sideline. Good job. Yeah, let's say hi to everybody.
Yeah.
Maybe a treat in there somewhere. I have to put the leash back on. There are leash laws here on the blue. 2nd and 6 for the Broncos. And the pass incomplete. Maybe a little too much on that one, intended for the tailback Ajayi, who's got good hands. He could be a weapon in the pass game.
Yeah, it's an area of his game that he's really worked on in this last year, becoming a better receiver, working in pass protection, trying to become a complete package.
Well, this crowd, it is all of a sudden a little more subdued here. It was rocking, but the BYU offense has, for the moment, quieted things down. And the Cougars have a chance to get their defense off the field. 3rd and 6. Hedrick will throw, and the pass is caught. The forward progress is going to give Boise State a 1st down. Jeremy McNichols, a true freshman, he knew where he had to go.
Good to see that out of your young players. BYU again bringing pressure. Boise State ready for it. Able to convert on 3rd down.
7-yard completion. Hedrick 10 of 13, 233 yards, a couple of touchdowns plus his touchdown run, which was a spectacular play. Ajayi bouncing off some tacklers, but gets only a yard. Johnson providing some depth for BYU on the defensive line. That's a spot in this team where the defense has actually stayed a little more healthy. They've got pretty good depth up front.
Yeah, those guys just eat up blockers, free up those linebackers that are very active for BYU.
Meanwhile, Boise State coming off a game where their offensive coordinator Mike Sanford said best performance by our O-line. And a misdirection play, and they get McNichols the ball out in the open, and he makes something happen. That speed from the true freshman. Another Broncos 1st down.
Missed tackles by BYU, an issue last week in their loss. And again, an opportunity to make a play. Can't do it. The young freshman does. McNichols.
Here is Mike Sanford, who played here at Boise State, was on the Stanford coaching staff the last few years. 1st year as the coordinator. Here with his alma mater. Hedrick on 1st down. Quick hitter right side, and not a missed tackle that time. Jazz Anderson with the catch.
And you see some of those Stanford influences, the multiple tight end sets, the shifts and some motions. It's something Boise State in their history has always done, and they're starting to do that again here.
There's a very high bar for offense on this campus. And not just Kellen Moore, who led Boise State to so much success, but Mike Sanford knows that the history of this program, they put up points, they put up yards. Going back a long, long way. Same on the BYU side. Hedrick scrambling, and a penalty flag on the play. The pass is caught. For the moment, it's a 1st down. Jake Rowe, the tight end, we'll see.
Holding offense number 66. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
So that negates the first down, and that is the second penalty in this game on Mario Yaku. Picked up a big penalty last week in the Fresno State game here in Boise.
And he's a big physical presence on that offensive line. Goes about 340, 6'4". The shoulder pads look small on him.
2nd and 15 for the Broncos. Jai, a little shift. Play fake to him. Hedrick again with a lot of time. And a throw along the sideline. Pretty nice job there to stay in bounds. Dallas Burrows with the catch. Not a big gain, but a little more manageable now on 3rd down.
Hedrick is really becoming just a headsy player. Great patience and calmness. Extending that play and then finding his receiver. Burrows along the sideline. 1 foot. Nice catch.
Ooh, that was a little bobble, but I think he had it securely as the foot got down. 3rd and 9. And that was a nice play by Burrows. Hedrick pressured, steps up nicely in the pocket, down the left sideline. Beautiful pass and catch. Chaz Anderson. Now a scramble. The ball sort of came out there. And I think the officials are saying it's down inside the 5. They're going to sort this out. What a play.
The ruling on the field is a catch and down by rule. Short of the goal line, 1st and goal.
And I think that's the right call.
I think so.
I think he had it, was down, and then the defender started to try to wrestle the ball away.
It's easy to get him more involved in this offense when he's making plays like this.
Wow.
That's big time. Great concentration and focus.
On 3rd down, 48 yards. Another huge play for the Boise State offense. They're over 400 yards of offense. We're still in the first half. Ajayi cuts it to the end zone. Touchdown. The 11th rushing touchdown of the year for the junior Jay Ajayi. Number 6 got him close. Number 27 gets him in. Anderson might have been a little shaken up on that long pass play, which was the key play of the drive.
Looks like they're checking out his shoulder when he fell on it. Great job of battling for that football.
Yeah, he's hurting Chaz Anderson. 9 plays, 77 yards. A sophomore from Los Angeles, a big part of it. Dan Goodell, the place kicker. Kick up and good. What a first half offensive performance for the Broncos. 34-14. Jay Ajayi into the end zone. And the celebration starts. The Broncos offense running wild. ESPN College Football Primetime presented by Jimmy John's. Dave Fleming, David Diaz-Infante, Allison Williams, and the Boise State offense. They've been the real stars in this one so far. 34-14 with still 3:39 to go in the first half. Jay Ajayi gets into the end zone for the first time. Broncos have scored every which way and piled up more than 400 yards of offense before halftime. Shorter kickoff here. Jared Jurgens for the 25, hit from behind. BYU's offense will come back on the field, but first we'll go to the studio with Chris Cotter.
Dave, Cal and Oregon. And look at Luke Rubens here. That's the running quarterback in Sonny Dykes' offense there. First drive of the game for the Golden Bears results in a touchdown. Now it's Mr. Mariota's turn. 7-0 Cal over Oregon. David?
So a Friday night game in the Pac-12. Back in Northern California here in Boise on the blue. Jamal Williams out into the open. And Williams, who provided a real spark a couple drives ago, did not play in the first quarter. He's been banged up. Williams with a big play. Chaz Anderson who had a big play in that last sequence. He goes to the locker room.
Well, we saw him holding his shoulder. He looked like he was in some pain.
First down. The shoulder fake. Stewart, who's got plenty of time, and throws it almost up for grabs. Incomplete. Good coverage there. Intended for Matthews. Jonathan Moxie knocked it down.
You see Matthews trying to go up and make a play on the ball. Well defended by Moxie. He's given up some height.
Yeah, Matthews
5'10".
6'6". Yeah. Moxie 5'10". Matthews coming off that huge game against Nevada. They have blanketed him tonight. One catch for 8 yards for Mitch Matthews. Williams gets another carry. Gang tackle by the Broncos. Got back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe Blake Reno had a big game last week against Fresno State with the tackle.
Yeah, hanging on, wasn't he? Jamal Williams, and he's a physical runner. Boy, when he's healthy, he adds a whole new dimension to this BYU offense.
He definitely changed the offense when he came into this game. They missed him. Now 3rd and 9, though. Stewart sort of sprinting right, has to throw quickly. It's caught, but well short of the first down, and you wonder if the Cougars may go for it here. And I think not. You're down 20 in the first half. Your defense has not been able to stop Boise State at all. Near midfield, 4th and 4, but no. Gonna punt the ball away. Scott Ariano. Shane Williams Rhodes standing at the 10. Boise State has 2 timeouts, about 2 minutes left before halftime. Ariano this time kicks it end over end. It's going to bounce. Bounce inside the 10. Still rolling right to the 5-yard line. Well executed. We'll go back to the studio again with Chris Cotter.
Dave, BMW halftime report coming up in 1 minute and 49 seconds. Mark May, Coach Holtz will be here in studio with me. The Ducks, as you saw, in action at Cal. We'll give you an update on that game. Also, several road tests for ranked teams this weekend. We'll go through it, and Phil Steele gives us his picks. That's coming up. BMW halftime report. Dave?
Kicking team at the 15-yard line.
All right, thanks, Chris. Meanwhile, that head referee Reggie Smith saying that the ball was touched at the 15. That makes a difference. That may influence how aggressive Boise State gets here with still 1 minute 48 to go until halftime. The punt was downed at the 5-yard line of the Broncos, but let's see if we can see where the ball was touched at the 15. Well, apparently that one got the foot of the BYU special teams player, foot or leg.
The ruling on the field of illegally touching is under further review.
They're going to take a look at that one upstairs. I don't know if that one got. I couldn't see if it got him there. Let's see. Now, the only chance was maybe it glanced off the thigh. Didn't look like it. It did not hit his foot. Maybe on the way down. Was there some contact? We may have to look at that one again.
You didn't see the course of the ball being altered either.
And it is a ruling that makes a difference with 1 minute 48 to go until halftime. Mike Angelis is the replay official tonight. From that angle, it doesn't look like it hits him. And I thought from the other side, you maybe could. I mean, it definitely doesn't hit his foot. The only question to me, let's see this angle
If it
again.
caught his thigh? Boy, it's tough to tell.
So to me, that right there, that moment, as we play it back and forth, right sort of there is the only question to me. If it grazes him right there.
Ooh, that one.
But I don't know if you could see anything that would be indisputable to overturn the call. That to me, you can't tell. I think they would. And here's the thing. Initially, they spotted at the 5, but the actual call on the field is that he did touch it. Ball on the 15. So maybe there's enough to say, no, it didn't touch him. I don't have a good feel for this one. Not an easy review for Mike Angelis and company. They're taking their time.
After further review, the ball was not touched by BYU at the 15-yard line. It'll be returned to the dead ball spot, which is the 5-yard line, 1st and 10.
So they just could not see the ball hitting the special teams player, and therefore ball back at the 5 like we thought initially. And look, BYU's defense has not been able to stop Boise State at all. But we'll see if the Broncos are a little extra conservative with this field position. Hedrick hands it off. Jay Ajayi. Really nowhere to go. Got back to the line of scrimmage. That's it. BYU has all 3 of its timeouts. So, David, at least they could at least consider stopping the clock. Somebody stops the clock here, and I think it is Bronco Mendenhall. So a quick timeout. BYU stops the clock. We'll be back in 30 seconds. 20-point Boise State lead. Boise State in the Mountain West, BYU and Independent, although these two teams are going to play each other over and over again for a long time to come. These are geographic rivals. There is Chaz Anderson with the shoulder pads off and obviously hurting. He had a big play on the last Boise State drive. Back on the field. Ajayi in the end zone, dives forward, and he avoided the safety just barely, and I mean barely. Wow. Now BYU's got to call another timeout. Bronco Mendenhall was standing there arguing to call the timeout. They wasted about 5 seconds there before they called that timeout. Oh my goodness. That right knee was so close to being down. And is that Ajayi? It is.
The ruling on the field that the ball carrier made it outside the end zone is under further review.
And the question is, that right knee was real close to being down.
BYU will not be charged with their second timeout.
So for now, BYU doesn't take the timeout. The officials are going to stop the clock and review. Let's see. Was this right knee down? I think it was. I think it's down. I think that's a safety.
Yeah, it's Logan Talele.
It was a great effort by Ajayi, but I think that right knee is down.
Boy, that looks like it touches right there.
So that's what they're looking at. Ajayi, meanwhile, is getting up and walking off the field. So that's good news. That's a spot where Boise State does not have a lot of depth. They really lean on their star tailback. And it was a great effort. But, yeah, I mean, I think that knee is down right there.
That right knee. Yeah, that is down.
Well, you're right. Logan Taele, the 280-pound junior backup nose tackle, defensive lineman with a great play. And I think that should be a safety. If it is, obviously it's 2 points for BYU and they'll get the ball. They save a timeout. Let's listen in. See
After
what the ruling
further
is.
review, the ball carrier's knee was down in the end zone and the ball did not make it out of the end zone. Safety.
Well, that's a big play for Bronco Mendenhall and the Cougars defense. They have not made a lot of big plays in this first half. But with 1:26 to go, that's 2 points on the safety, and they get the ball back with a chance to get closer. With everything in the back of their minds, they're going to get the ball first at the start of the second half. So this could be a minute and a half that could be very productive for BYU.
A chance to get the double score.
Ajayi, he walked off the field, but obviously there's some concern.
Yeah, they're testing his knee.
That right knee.
Good to see him walk off.
You can't blame him for the safety. That was a heck of a play by Taele. So 34-16. And Boise State is going to put the ball on a tee for this free kick after the safety. So that's how they elect to do it at the 20-yard line. Now this return becomes a big play. The Cougars try to get some field position. I think typically you see teams punt in this spot. But off the tee and a booming kick deep to the 10. Juergens to the 25, to the 30, to the 35 with a flag thrown behind the play. In fact, a couple of them. So good return, but I think this one is moving backwards.
During the return, holding receiving team number 33. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's a big penalty. Another quick check in the studio with Chris Cotter.
All right, up and down the field they go in Berkeley. Marcus Mariota, the play fake, finds Dwayne Stanford 22 yards. That's a 34th straight game in which Mariota has thrown a touchdown pass. So 7-7. Here comes Cal right back with the touchdown run. And all of a sudden, it's 14-7. I have a feeling this one is going to have a few more points scored before all is said and done, Dave.
I think you're right, Chris. Sort of feels like this game we've got here in Boise. Offense ruling the day. Christian Stewart throws, and he's got Matthews left side for a first down, and then Matthews gets out of bounds, so that stops the clock. 1:13 to go until halftime. 2 timeouts, and it should be 2 timeouts for BYU. They were given that timeout back, so we're showing 1 there, but I do believe that they have 2 timeouts. The review meant that they were not charged with their second one. Here's a throw across the middle. Flag behind the play. Mitchell Juergens gets out of bounds, but we'll see. 12 yards if the play holds up.
Personal foul, chop block, offense, number 67 and number 33. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat first down.
What a big penalty that is. And Paul Lasike, who committed the penalty on special teams that denied BYU good field position, and that's a 15-yard penalty he's a part of there.
Well, right when you try to get something going, you'll see Lasike go low.
While the blocker was engaged up high, you can't do that. Here, this one incomplete on first and very long. Still 1 minute and 2 seconds, so they do have time with the 2 timeouts, but facing a second down at 25 to go. Those 2 penalties were very big. Stewart throws, and it's intercepted. Darian Thompson comes up with the pick, and Boise State is now the team with 54 seconds left in scoring position. And that's a huge mistake, and the Broncos are going to have their tailback coming back on the field.
The one thing you couldn't do in that situation, and this is what Bronco Mendenhall was talking about, referring to his football team in critical situations, the errors, the mistakes are catching up with them. And there's Christian Stewart. That's a ball you can't throw.
Well, you could just see that coming. The coverage was too good. So now Boise State, man, what a back and forth few minutes, but the turnover really hurts the Cougars. Already in field goal range with a kicker with a strong leg. A little play fake, and they'll pitch it back. Almost like a hook and ladder type play. Oklahoma's watching this game, nodding, going, wait a minute. Nick Nichols was forced out of bounds. BYU stops the play, gain of only 4.
You know, we refer to those as trick plays or gadget plays, but it's just really a part of their offense in this area of the field that they practice all the time. It's just another play call that they have.
Well, that's a good point.
They're just more willing to do it than most teams.
They do it all the time. A second down and 6. The receiver comes in motion. Hedrick looking for the end zone. He throws on the slant. Caught. Touchdown. Troy Ware. The BYU turnover turns into 6 for Boise State, and they have put 40 on the board before halftime.
Grant Hedrick throwing a strike. Look at Ware. Ball on the numbers.
19 yards, just 2 plays after the interception. And man, does that hurt for BYU. Extra point up and good. What a half for Boise State's offense. 429 yards of offense, 41 points, and still 42 seconds. Who knows what will happen when we come back. Monday Night Football. Washington goes to Dallas to take on the first place Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? 8:15 on Monday on ESPN.
This is one of the great rivalries in the National Football League as well.
Tony Romo and company, how well have they been playing?
Mark Schlereth told me a story about the Cowboys and their heyday, how good they really were.
Well, a few heydays the Cowboys did, and trying to get back there. Kick return here, and just nowhere to go for Trey Dye with 35 seconds on the clock.
Mark Schlereth stink when he was with the Redskins. They go to play the Dallas Cowboys when they had Troy Aikman and their whole squad. He said he looked over before the game and said not one of our guys could start for their team. That's how good the Cowboys were.
Maybe a little bit of an exaggeration. Our friend and colleague Mark Schlereth. But a rivalry that goes back a long, long way. This has been a good rivalry here in the Mountain West region. BYU not any longer a part of that conference. There's Jamal Williams with under 30 seconds to go until halftime. BYU not taking a knee, but running the ball with no urgency. I think content to try to regroup back in the locker room. Well, Bronco Mendenhall took over at least some of the play calling on defense this week for BYU, hoping to improve things. I do not believe this is what the Cougars had in mind.
Not at all.
So Christian Stewart and company will jog off the field. Grant Hedrick.
This is the end of the first half.
It is the end of the first half. The Broncos have to be very pleased with the way their offense played. 41-16 the score, and they did it about every way possible when they had the ball. The Broncos offense was very, very impressive. Not just their star tailback, Jay Ajayi. Down on the field with Allison Williams, the Boise State head coach.
Thank you very much. Coach Harsin, how has your offense been able to put up over 400 yards and 41 points in the first half?
Well, we took advantage of a turnover right there for the points. That's a great job by the defense stepping up. Guys have made plays, but we got to come back and keep playing. This is not over by any means.
But how would you describe the way you've been able to be multifaceted, and how do you continue to do that in the second half?
We just have to keep attacking. Guys have to keep executing. I think we're more consistent right now on the offensive side, and if we can continue that, then we can make plays. We got to show the consistency in the second half.
Thank you, Coach. Guys.
And thank you, Allison. Brian Harsin and company take a lead to the locker room. Halftime, Boise State 41, BYU 16. We are back here in Boise. Big crowd, lots of enthusiasm on this Friday night. Start of the third quarter, 41-16. That's the Boise State halftime lead. Dave Fleming, David Diaz, Infante. David, it was 2 years ago, two different teams, granted, but on this same field, this same matchup, halftime score 0-0. I think it's safe to say we got a little different kind of game here tonight.
Yeah, a few more fireworks here tonight, and Grant Hedrick has just played lights out. This offense is functioning at a high rate right now in so many different ways. It's the Boise State that we all probably remember and think of in that kind of fashion.
Yeah, so the Broncos offense looking to keep it going here in the second half, but they do have to give the ball back to BYU. The kickoff will result in a touchback. And let's check in with Allison Williams.
BYU's defense has struggled in recent weeks, so head coach Bronco Mendenhall became much more hands-on with the defense. Let me tell you, he was very displeased with what he saw in the first half. He attributed it to poor concentration and said Boise State has beat us in every way they can. I asked him how he goes about fixing some of the issues. He said for them it's all about leverage. They've got beat with some quick scores, so they need to make sure they have better leverage, keep the ball inside and in front.
Well, their offense definitely, and thanks for that report, Allison, the BYU offense definitely picked things up as the first half went on. But they got a lot of work to do to keep up. Jamal Williams trying to hang in there, not fully healthy. Gets a carry for a couple yards.
And once they got Jamal Williams going, it gave their offense a little bit of a spark.
He did not see action in the first quarter. His first drive of the second quarter, BYU went right down the field and got into the end zone. Williams averaging over 7 yards a carry, and he's got one of their 2 touchdowns. A little swing pass and a good catch by Lasike. He drags the defender right to the first down mark. It is a BYU first down.
See Paul Lasike, a big guy, pretty nimble out there. Nice job of getting out.
A native of Auckland, New Zealand. He was a rugby player, didn't play football at all until he got to BYU. He's turned into a big part of their team. Here's Jamal Williams breaking tackles. Tripped up, though, short of the 40. A gain of 3 yards for Williams.
Darian Thompson doing a nice job coming up from his safety position as BYU will get a little tempo going here.
That is what they like to do. When their offense is right, they're about the highest tempo team in the country. Real close to it. Another swing pass, this time Williams. But that one-on-one matchup turns into 2-on-1, and the Broncos get him to the blue. He lost a couple yards on that play. Tyler Gray, number 36, the linebacker, he's been playing well.
Yeah, he has. They have some young linebackers. I tell you what, they've got some football players on that side of the ball. The future looks bright. And, you know, they're learning a new system, new terminology, some carryover, but this team's going to continue to get better as the season goes on.
Well, their defense was really banged up for much of the first part of the year. Stewart pursued. He gets away from one, but not another. He got back to the line of scrimmage, avoided the sack, but Correa gets him down, and BYU is going to have to punt the ball away.
Well, you know, the coaching staff must be holding their breath as Christian Stewart runs with this football. Remember, there's no one behind him. They ask him to be careful to slide to protect yourself, and he took a couple hits there.
Well, Gray ended up making the tackle after Correa could not. There's Ariano, the punter. Shane Williams-Rhodes standing at the Boise State 20. Kind of a low kick, fair catch, made at the 25. Well, Grant Hedrick on the field for the first time in the third quarter. What a first half he had.
He's playing the best football he has this season. Great decisions with the football. He tucks it and runs for a 12-yard touchdown. Then he hangs in the pocket and pushes the ball down vertically the field to Spurbeck, and now flea flicker. This is Boise State, and he's running the show, making big plays all over the field. Then he's going to throw a laser to Ware for another touchdown.
That last one came after an interception with about a minute to go until halftime. Another little fly sweep, but with some sort of like a pitch action. Shane Williams-Rhodes, not a big game, but Boise State just shows you so much.
It's a forward pass, too. Yeah. But, you know, talking to Mike Sanford, offensive coordinator, in this offense, he is growing each week, and not just his knowledge of the system, but his execution of it and his leadership role on this football team.
2nd and 8, Hedrick with an interception to the end zone, touchdown. My goodness, what a play by Fred Warner, the freshman linebacker who read that beautifully, and we're heaping praise, deservedly so, on the quarterback, but that was a mistake. Not just a turnover that equals 6 points and maybe 7. With everything going right for the Boise State offense, BYU badly needed that.
Warner in great position to make that play.
Extra point by Sampson, up and good, and who knows, maybe we got a ball game.
And you'll see Warner right here looking at the quarterback. He's in perfect position. He sees it. He makes a break on the ball, and it's interception. Touchdown, BYU.
ESPN is your home of the new college football playoff.
Well, on a weekend where come Tuesday we're going to get our first playoff committee rankings, and everybody's looking forward to that. here in Boise. 41-23 after the defensive touchdown, the interception, and the touchdown return by the freshman linebacker Fred Warner. So Hendrick and Boise State's offense waiting to get back on the field. Another kickoff from BYU. And it'll be another return here for McNichols, who gets hit and tackled across the 20-yard line. It is worth remembering that this new playoff format includes, of course, the 4 playoff teams, but also those New Year's 6 bowl games, the so-called big bowl games. And there is a guaranteed spot for the highest ranked conference champion from the group of 5. And the Mountain West, Boise State is part of that group of 5. And DDI, I think they have a chance, maybe with some help from those 2 teams ahead of them, to be that team.
Yeah, I think so. Especially you look at that loss to Ole Miss. That was a close ball game till the 4th quarter. And that's a quality loss that is getting better with each week.
Well, East Carolina and Marshall have pretty impressive resumes. Jay Ajayi breaking tackles and spins forward to the 29-yard line. Nice gain on first down. Those 2 teams right now, I think, are safely positioned ahead of Boise State. But if the Broncos continue to win and those 2 teams ahead of them stumble even a little bit, that the Ole Miss game, the strength of schedule for the Broncos, I think, starts to play a bigger factor. You could have a real debate at that point.
Yeah, I think so. Those are discussions that will take place.
And it's the rankings of the committee that matter. McNichols spinning through tackles and the true freshman across the 40 for a Boise State first down on ESPN. 7:30 Tuesday. Those initial committee rankings will be revealed. And I think the idea is those rankings change week to week, but I think everybody's fascinated to see how the committee views this first chunk of the season, where they slot particularly those really closely grouped 1-loss teams. There's that running forward pass play we see more and more of in college football. That's tough to defend. Shane Williams-Rhodes with the catch.
It's really a form of a triple option. Do you hand it off, do you keep it with the run, or do you throw it to the perimeter?
We've seen teams, I think, these days use that more than they have in years. Go back to the old days, you see a lot of passes that look like that. 1st and 10, Boise State. Hendrick flushed out to the right, pursued, and he throws it away. Good pressure from Bronson Kafusi. Kafusi, 6'7", started his BYU career on the football team and on the basketball team. But his future is in this sport. He's going to be a prospect.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. He's that edge presence that Boise State was so concerned about at BYU. Kafusi's one of those guys.
2nd and 10. That pass complete right side. Williams-Rhodes pushed out of bounds. It'll be 3rd down. 5 on the play. Well, the BYU defense before halftime came up with a safety, got 2 points on the board, scored a touchdown right away here in the 3rd quarter. So the defense has been providing some points.
Sure, there was a little inspiration during halftime.
Trying to play catch up against this Boise State offense, which is getting closer to 500 yards already with 10 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. McNichols in the backfield. Hendrick pressured, hit as he throws, and it's tipped up incomplete. Went right through the hands of the tight end Jake Rowe. And for a moment, I'm sure the Broncos were holding their breath. The pressure may have impacted that throw.
Yeah, BYU bringing pressure right up the gut. But look at Grant Hendrick just hang in there, keeping his eyes down the field.
A tough guy performance from him tonight. I've been impressed with that.
He has. You know, that interception, obviously a mistake on his part, but that's an area of his game that he has improved. Came into this game with 10 interceptions on the year, but 8 of those came in 2 games.
Keanu Nelson back to receive the punt. He'll signal fair catch and make it at about the 7-yard line. So that's where BYU will get the ball when we come back to the blue. Boise State with a 41-23 lead.
ESPN College Football Primetime is brought to you by Dr. Pepper, always one of a kind, and Ford. Beautiful things happen when you go further.
That is the artist in residence here at Boise State, Benjamin Victor, professor of the practice is what they call him here at the university. A world-class art experience for students and artists alike. Letting us take a look into his studio. Here we are on campus. The students making a lot of noise here tonight. And their Broncos with a 41-23 lead. 9:43 to go, third quarter. Jamal Williams with the carry straight ahead. Gets to the 10, a gain of 3. Williams trying to gut it out. He has had an ankle problem that has really limited him of late. But he's been out there tonight. He's been productive. The play fake and then the drop by the tight end, Devin Mahina. Complete 3rd and 7.
You know, Jamal Williams, too, they have to manage his carries when you've been out that long. It's not like you can jump in and get a volume of carries. Your conditioning, everything like that comes into play as well as his health.
So 3rd and 7 here. 3 of 8 on 3rd downs for the Cougars so far tonight. Stewart, 4-man rush, and he's going to be brought down. Correa, the stud linebacker, they call him. They call that position the stud, and he looked like it there. For the sack, it's 4th down.
3rd down is when they like to bring pressure. Here's Correa right there. He's going to be involved with a line stand up front, changing the angles of their rushes, and he's going to split the 2 offensive linemen and make the play.
That was beautifully done by Kalale Correa, the sophomore from Honolulu, Hawaii. Punt for Ariano from the end zone, and kind of a shank. It's going to bounce, and BYU will down it. Broncos going to get great field position here. We'll go back to the studio with Chris Cotter.
All right, we go to Santa Clara. Levi Stadium is where they're playing this game. Oregon and Cal. Mariota at it again, finding Pharaoh Brown. Nice catch in the back of the end zone. 17 straight points for the Ducks. 24-14, second quarter. Dave.
All right, thanks, Chris. Plenty of offense in that one in the Pac-12.
Both those teams can score and score quickly.
Cal's offense is a whole lot better. I mean, they put up some points last year, but that is a much improved Cal team. Great field position after the 33-yard punt from BYU's end zone. Hedrick, a little fake, now going deep, and a pass is caught. Another great play by the sophomore Thomas Spurbeck. Having a tremendous game and really emerging at wide receiver for this Broncos team.
Spurbeck knew he was going to take a hit, made the catch, protected himself, got some hops. Just a sophomore.
That was impressive athleticism for the high school quarterback from Sacramento. Now playing wide receiver, 24 yards, and it's 1st and 10 from the 12. Hedrick will fake it to Ajayi, keep it himself, and get hit. Maybe got a yard.
No gain, Grant Hedrick. Second down.
Well, been a couple times in this game where BYU's defense has found a way to hold in this part of the field. Boise State being fairly deliberate here. Ajayi takes a handoff and stop. There was a hole. It closed up quickly.
Jay Ajayi. Game 3.
3rd down coming up. Not quite 3rd and goal. They can get a 1st down at the 2. Both teams making substitutions here. The officials have to allow the defense to get those subs in if the offense brings new personnel onto the field. Ajayi looks a little beat up going to the sideline. 3rd and 6. Pressure, a screen, beautifully set up. The tight end picking his way forward, touchdown. Jake Rowe, the redshirt freshman, with his 2nd touchdown for the Broncos. That was a great play call.
Boise has always been a very good screen team. A great call by Mike Sanford. And you'll see him pump fake, a pass they've made a lot. Great timing by the offensive line. And Jake Rowe.
You can see why they're excited about their young tight ends. 8 yards into the end zone with the extra point on the way, up and good.
And if you're a tight end, you want to come here and play. You know you're going to be involved in the offense.
Yeah, my dear left smile. That was well done. 48-23, Boise State leads. Tomorrow we get you started early. Number 11 ranked Kansas State trying to stay unbeaten in the very tough Big 12. Hosting Texas. The Longhorns playing a little better of late, noon Eastern. On ESPN, K-State and Texas. Well, the Wildcats quarterback not known perhaps as many of the other quarterbacks in that league, but Jake Waters has really been playing well.
Yeah, and Lockett's a great target as a returner and wide receiver.
They got skill guys. They've got a quarterback. They got a good team. Touchback on the kickoff, and let's check in with the studio and Chris Cotter.
All right, take game 3 of the World Series. Bottom 9, Hunter Pence at the plate, grounds out. Greg Holland's 7th save of this postseason. Royals win the game 3-2. They take a 2-1 series lead. Complete postgame coverage on SportsCenter right now on ESPN2, then after our game on ESPN. Send it back to Dave and David in Boise.
All right, Chris, thanks. So if you're joining us from the baseball, welcome to the blue turf of Boise. Wild offense in this one, mostly from the Broncos. BYU just trying desperately to hang in this game. Christian Stewart, the quarterback who has taken over this year for the injured Taysom Hill, their Heisman candidate, their star, one of the best players in the country. Stewart has played well for the Cougars, but down big midway through the 3rd quarter. Pass complete for a short game, but it is enough for a first down. Jordan Leslie with the catch. Dante Dion makes the tackle.
First down, BYU.
Boise State up over 500 yards of offense in this game. BYU, who did not have a first down in the first quarter.
Offense, number 50, 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
Commits the penalty. That's Edward Fusi. You commit a penalty, you come off the field.
Yep, that's how it works sometimes. Then you got to go look at your coach right in the eyes.
Dijon Karoma, the true freshman. In at center now. There's Leslie with the catch out in the flat. Got it up across the 40-yard line to the 41.
And Boise State is content on keeping everything in front of them right now, making BYU earn it.
Now the clock is definitely the Broncos' friend as they look to improve to 6-2. Boise State getting better, playing very well. There's a catch by Matthews into Boise State territory. Nice burst of speed from the 6'6" junior. Down short of the 45 at the 46.
And that's Matthews just finding the soft spot in the zone.
Stewart from the shotgun. Well, pump fake. Now he's going to go deep middle. Leslie with some contact, and here comes a penalty flag. And Jonathan Moxie is saying, well, wait a minute. Jordan Leslie was holding me. So the officials will talk about this flag. When you see that flag thrown, you just assume it's going to be against the defense. Moxie was at least arguing his case. The sophomore has made a couple nice plays in this game.
Well, something looked like it restricted Jordan Leslie outside. I mean,
Pass interference, defense, number 30, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, we'll take a look and see what we see.
yeah, you see the grab right there, the jersey, the grab, the restriction.
Well, yeah,
and it altered the course of the wide receiver.
Yeah, maybe late in the play, Leslie got his hands on Moxie, but I think the flag came a second earlier. Stewart, short middle, Lasike with the catch. It's hit hard, but spins forward even after the hit and gets a BYU first down.
And that was Tanner Vallejo, the young linebacker, just a sophomore. Coach Harsin was raving about his instincts, his ability to recognize formations and spacing, and then apply it in the game.
That was a good application right there with the tackle. 1st and 10, though, BYU. Play fake, Stewart rolling, throwing, incomplete, intended for Leslie. The clock stops. I know it's only the 3rd quarter, but those seconds, if BYU has any chance in this game, those seconds are going to be precious because they're down big. Handoff, Williams read perfectly and tackled in the backfield. Matt Bozen with the play to set up 3rd down. Another one of those young Boise State linebackers.
Yeah, Boise State's going to have 2 guys clean off the edge right there to make that play. Bozen came free.
Could be 4 down time for BYU late in the 3rd quarter. Here comes big pressure up the middle. Stewart throwing it basically up for grabs, incomplete. And again, Moxie and Leslie were getting after one another. 4th and 11. And why kick a field goal here? You're down by 25. BYU, Bronco Mendenhall, they've got to go for it. Fourth and 11. Stewart to the end zone, incomplete. He had his man open, the tight end, Devin Mahina, and he just led him too far. It was there.
Christian Stewart's going to wish he had that one back. That one you just got to put on him.
So incomplete. Broncos take over. We'll go to the studio with Chris Cotter.
All right, Dave, back to that Oregon-Cal game. On the punt return, Charles Nelson. Not to be confused with the late Charles Nelson Riley, just Charles Nelson. Look at this punt return and all the cuts and the moves. At the 25, he brings it back inside. Then at the 15 once again, he's gone. This was a close game, 14-14. Not so much anymore, 31-14 Ducks.
Well, pretty spectacular there. That's what we're used to seeing from the Ducks. Boise State, they've had their share and more of spectacular in this one. From now until the end of it, perhaps we'll see a little more conventional offense from the Broncos.
Yeah, and I think you'll see a heavy dose of Ajayi pounding the ball up the middle, getting that run game going, and starting to impose a will on the BYU defense.
So 2nd and 5, Ajayi goes out as a wide receiver here. Now motions toward the backfield. And off Ajayi. So all that movement, just a standard run play, short of the 1st down. Okay, we get those first rankings on Tuesday. For you, for me, who's in as of this moment? We have the same teams and pretty similar orders.
Just a little bit different. I just think Florida State, they're the defending national champs, but Oregon, I think they're a team that's going to be in there.
So 3rd and 2, and both of us have Oregon. The Ducks as a 1-loss team with the 3 undefeateds in that playoff as of now. Whistle and a penalty thrown, and on 3rd and 2, a false start is going to make it 3rd and long.
Snap, full start, offense number 66, 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
And I do think, David, that is going to be one of the fascinating things about those rankings coming out 7:30 on Tuesday. The 1-loss teams, how does the playoff committee see those teams stacking up?
There's a lot of people going to be vying for that 4th spot, and it'll be interesting to see how do they view Oregon, how do they view Michigan State. Some of those schools out there, so it'll be interesting to see that.
I mean, Auburn, Notre Dame, you got, and
Notre Dame.
It's not set in stone, the playoff here. It's just the first ranking. We're still in October before Halloween. And it gives you a little insight into the type of things they're thinking about. On 3rd down, a ball hanging up in the air off the deflection, incomplete, intended for Burrows. So the BYU defense holds.
And it may just be an indicator of the type of metrics that they're looking for and looking at to evaluate that 4th team.
Yeah, it gives us a little insight into what that committee is thinking about. So Bronco Mendenhall's team trying to hang around this game. It's easy to forget here, BYU so beat up now, and their season has sort of gone awry. 3 weeks ago, BYU thought they had an argument to be a playoff team. They were undefeated. They were a top 20 team. They had Taysom Hill talking about running the table. And things have changed a lot. Booming punt for Sean Whale. Good coverage from the Boise State special teams. Well, we use that hashtag show me something here on Friday night. We give you ours, you give us yours. Ashley with a show me something. Ole Miss offense needs to spend more time on the field. You figure that's what LSU's game plan might be tomorrow night.
Yeah, if there's any weakness there, maybe in the offensive line, their inability to run the football. That can come back to haunt you.
Ole Miss's defense, on the other hand, has been
Lights out.
awesome. And Boise State found that out firsthand. They matched up with the Rebels in week 1. They were hanging with Ole Miss for a while. That was a 1-point game going into the fourth quarter. It was 7-6. Ole Miss led. And the final score is not totally indicative of how that game was played.
And how close it was. And think about that, how much this team has improved since then. First-year coaching staff, the changes, terminology, systems, way of doing things. As familiar as Harston has been with this program, it was still new.
Williams another carry, almost like a read option style play, and he gets a chunk of yards. Third down coming up. BYU moved down the field, went for it on fourth down, and missed a chance for a touchdown last time they had the ball. Just can't miss many more opportunities down 48-23. 3rd and 3. Stewart pressured, rolling, and sacked. Brought down by big number 96, Elliott Hoyt, who had a sack last week against Fresno State. And a big play on defense here.
You'll see big number 96 right here. He's going to show hustle in pursuit of the quarterback from the backside. Another line stunt up front. And this same defense, 5 sacks last week against Fresno State.
So Hoyt with the sack. BYU punts. Ariano with a line drive punt. Williams Rhodes at about the 21 along the sideline and stumbles forward across the 30. Well, Elliott Hoyt, who is just a sophomore, he grew up in England, just outside London. And the best 2 games of his career last week, and I think maybe you put tonight in, he comes up with a big sack there. His dad just happened to be visiting for these 2 games. So his dad is here in the stands tonight, all the way from London, England. And good timing, Dad. You get to see your kid playing really well.
Yeah, making plays.
So he was the defensive lineman of the game. Boise State gives sort of awards to position groups each week. And last week they gave Elliott Hoyt the award. Making Dad proud. 1st and 10 Broncos. Ajayi with the handoff. And tackled at the 35-yard line. Tomorrow, J.T. Barrett and Ohio State Saturday Night Football in the Big Ten. On the road to take on the Nittany Lions of Penn State. Saturday Night Football. Ohio State, Penn State, 8 Eastern on ABC.
That's a pretty salty Penn State defense.
They are. They have played well, and that is a real challenge to try to stop the explosive Buckeyes offense. Some adjustment early in the year with J.T. Barrett. They are rolling now. Play fake. Hedrick in the pocket. Now scrambling, and Hedrick will go down. And that will be the final play of the 3rd quarter here on the Blue in Boise. Friday Night Football, and the Broncos up big.
This is the end of the 3rd quarter.
Everybody goes where everybody knows everything goes on Friday night.
The pink out tonight here on campus at Boise State. Game has calmed down a little bit after a wild 2nd quarter. 48-23 the score heading to quarter number 4. Dave Fleming, David Diaz-Infante, Allison Williams, and the students have been tremendous. Packed house here tonight. 3rd and 4. Start of the 4th quarter. Hedrick will scramble. Flag thrown. He does get the first down, but I imagine this one's coming back.
Repeat 3rd down.
Penalty that time against the center, Marcus Henry, so that negates the first down run.
Well, that's because he had linebackers running 100 miles an hour right at both A gaps, coming right up the middle. Took him by surprise.
You've had that feeling?
Yes, I've
before?
had that feeling before. It's quite uncomfortable.
Wait a minute. You can
I've
flash
actually been hit by the flag before in my chest on Monday Night Football.
Let's just make sure we identify who made the penalty.
I looked up and told the official now that was unnecessary.
3rd and 14. A screenplay. Ajayi, that was dangerous. And a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Well read by BYU and almost a disaster for the Broncos.
You saw a white jersey flash.
Ajayi sort of limps to the sideline. Man, that was close. We've already had a pick 6 for BYU. Grant Hedrick has to be feeling a little bit of relief that we didn't have number 2.
Yeah. And that's one thing he's done a better job of is protecting the football.
So the punt here, and Will gets it away. Return set up, and Nelson tackled at about the 44-yard line. Friday focus on this Friday night, and our friends with College Game Day all ready now for the morning time, 9 a.m. from Baton Rouge. Always a great scene, and the production meeting where they go over everything. Chris and Kirk practicing on set, get some on-air time in. Desmond Howard and his big smile down in Louisiana. There's Sam, there's David.
There's David saying something prophetic.
Yeah, looking a little presidential there. Pollock. 9 a.m. in the morning from Baton Rouge. Big game, big test for Ole Miss. And a ball knocked down by the defensive end of Boise State, Bo Martin. Incomplete, 2nd down, BYU.
One of the leaders of that defense and the guys they were looking to help control the line of scrimmage. I would say they've done exactly that. Mission accomplished.
BYU can't waste possessions now, down 25. They got to score. A good field position. We figure they've got 4 downs once again. Stewart, low snap, hands it off to Williams. But another good play by Boise State's defense. Well, the Cougars in danger of ending a pretty good streak of yards on the ground. 20 straight games as a team of 100+. No Taysom Hill, it's a different offense. That one just snuffed out by the Broncos D.
Yeah, 63 pass attempts last week against Nevada in that loss.
Well, for Stewart and BYU, these 3-and-outs, these punts are going to spell the end of this one. Correa, one of the good pass rushers for the Broncos, limping off himself to the sideline. 4th down and long. They will not go for it. 4th and 14. Scott Ariano, the punter, back out there again. This is the 8th punt of the game for BYU. Fair catch. And the Broncos get the ball back. Timeout here from Boise State. And the Broncos up big. But just a few miles from where we sit right at this moment, Capitol High School here in Boise. Over the years, they have sent many, many players to play for this Broncos program, including that guy, the head coach, first year back at home for Brian Harsin, who was a quarterback for the Broncos in the late 1990s. Coached here, went on to be a head coach. Arkansas State last season, had a good year. And Chris Peterson left. Brian Harsin came back home.
Yeah, it's good. And, you know, he understands the expectations, the traditions they have here, and everything that comes along with being the head coach at Boise State.
He's a very focused guy. Kess, his wife, and Brian's family, just sort of up above the field from one of the lounges inside the football facility, taking in this game. And Brian Harsin's team playing very well on the blue against BYU. Ajayi, straight ahead running. Tackled short of a first down. And bringing coaches back home, that has always been a theme here in Boise. This is the current coaching staff. Look how 6 different of the current assistant coaches played their college football here at Boise State. So sort of keep it in the family is the idea for this program.
They just brought on quality control position for Nate Potter, another offensive lineman, was with the Cardinals.
So it's always been a tradition where players come back home, and they have also over the years developed coaches here. So many have gone on from Boise State to success at other spots. But very famously, Chris Peterson took him a long time to decide to leave.
Some of his assistant stuff, coordinators went to bigger programs, be coordinators, and more opportunities because of the success they've had here at Boise.
Jeremy McNichols tackled for a loss of a yard. Dirk Cutters kind of got this modern era of Boise State football started in a way. Dan Hawkins, great success in his seasons here. Chris Peterson, 92-12. So that win percentage keeps climbing. You think there's any pressure on Brian
Just
Arson?
a little pressure, huh?
Yeah, I think so. 5-2 here in his first year, looking like he'll improve to 6-2. He's got a team that is getting better. Straight ahead running Ajayi out into the open to midfield and tackled into BYU territory and pounding the blue turf, maybe hurting a little bit, also maybe hoping that he could take that one all the way.
Sooner or later, he's going to break one on you. Look at that great delay handoff there. He hits north and south. Great patience and then acceleration.
So he's up over 100 yards after that 22-yard run. That is the 19th different play for the Broncos of 10 or more yards. 19 of them. Not a bad run there for Devin Demas, the sophomore from Houston, knocked out of bounds. That is a lot of big plays on offense for Boise State.
It'll be interesting to see how much longer they keep Ajayi in. He's had a productive night. They've got this game in hand. He's such a big part of their offense. Do you keep the pedal on the foot on the gas pedal because of the committee and the way things may go down the stretch?
The keeper for Hedrick, nice play, and he avoids a big hit. Brought down at about the 32. Well, I mean, it is, look, I'm not sure Brian Harsin is thinking about it right this moment, but the group of 5 teams in those 5 conferences that are not a part of the so-called power conferences with affiliations with the New Year's 6 bowl games, that group of 5, Boise State is a part of that. The highest ranked champion of one of those group of 5 leagues is guaranteed a spot in a New Year's 6 bowl game. And right now, the only 2 teams that, to my eyes, are clearly ahead of Boise State in that hierarchy are East Carolina and Marshall. And if one of those teams loses even one time, I think Boise State has an argument to leapfrog. And if both of them lose, the Broncos could be in position, if they can run the table, win the Mountain West, to be in one of those New Year's 6 bowl games.
You know, to me, Marshall's strength of schedule is suspect, but East Carolina, they are a good football team. They are dynamic.
And I'm
on
not
both sides of the ball.
I agree with you. Both those teams are very good, but Boise State is in a spot where they can be in the mix. Hedrick down the field, and a great catch, and backpedaling near the end zone.
Double action at the goal line, 1st and goal.
Ajayi almost got there, but not quite.
We talked about him working on his hands, becoming a better receiver. Look at the adjustment to the football. Comes down just short of the end zone.
Well, I've never been around a referee who wants to get on the microphone faster than Reggie Smith. Man, Ajayi's rear end hadn't hit the turf, and he was already telling us what the end result of the play was. But it's 1st and goal, and they got that one right. So now, can Ajayi and the Broncos punch one in?
That's a tight end here.
Give it to Ajayi, and he's in. Never got him down. Touchdown, Boise State. Ajayi's 2nd rush touchdown of the night, is 12th of the year. Just another game for the star junior, Jay Ajayi. And that run puts Boise State up to 594 yards of total offense. This kick for point number 55. What a showing by the Broncos offense.
Boise State, good old-fashioned power football. Jay Ajayi, the guard, coming around, and Boise State is rolling.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Jimmy John's, great sandwich delivery, and in part by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
So the Sigma Chi brothers saying we got a kitchen floor. We have a couple of hockey sticks. Let's get a game going.
The wrister.
The famous Idaho potato. Potatoes in a little different form probably at the Fred house.
That's right.
And the kickoff tee fetching Labrador. It's kickoff time. Another touchdown for the Broncos, so he's ready to work. BYU getting the ball back with 8:21 to go. All Boise State. And their special teams play has been excellent. Came up with a turnover on special teams. Good kick coverage all game long. Jay Ajayi has figured out a way once again. 118 yards, 26 carries, 2 more touchdowns. I mean, he's got to be one of the better power style running backs in the country, don't you think?
Yeah, I do. I love him on contact too. He has a way of bouncing off people, of ricocheting and moving forward.
Christian Stewart, he's got Matthews open left side, and a nice move to get away. Shoved out of bounds, but across the 40 at the 42. It's been a quieter game for Mitch Matthews last week against Nevada on the road. 16 catches, 182 yards for number 10.
A monster night. Well, it's been a little more quiet for this offense altogether.
Yeah, they were up over 600 yards against the Nevada Wolfpack. 264 yards tonight against Boise State. Stewart out to Williams, who could not get away from the linebacker in pursuit. Nice tackle by Gabe Perez. He's calling him a linebacker. He's really more like an outside linebacker rush end.
Boy, and that was a hustle play right there. Great job of staying in pursuit.
2nd and 7. Williams gets the carry this time, and he'll get the first down. He got 8 yards over the right side. Jamal Williams toughing it out tonight. The BYU ground game that has they've had so many injuries. Primarily their star quarterback, Taysom Hill, who is a quarterback and a running back all wrapped up in one.
He was their offense. He made everything work. So difficult to defend, even when you had him defended.
Mitchell Juergens out into the open, so that's a nice play from Stewart to Juergens. BYU on the move inside the 24. Look, BYU's offense is putting up some points. They're piling up some yards without Taysom Hill. It's not the same thing.
It is not. You know, it's a new offense. You can't do the same things you did with Taysom.
Good catch there by Colby Pearson. He's been a bright spot for BYU. Going back home from Blackfoot, Idaho. And against in front of, I'm sure, a lot of friends and family. He's had a nice game.
Just a sophomore.
Up over 100 yards receiving. A long touchdown catch for him. Stewart in the pocket, will throw toward the end zone, tipped up and incomplete. Trying to find Pearson once again. Well defended that time. Dylan Summer Gardner, the true freshman, is playing in his first year on campus. Another one of those young Broncos defensive studs.
Young, talented guys on that side of the ball. And they all run pretty well, too.
3rd and 5. He's got Leslie open for a first down. It'll be 1st and goal down to the 2.
Complete to Jordan Leslie.
And you'll see him look. He knows exactly what he has when he sees the zone coverage and puts the ball on his wide receiver.
Handoff. Williams fighting forward. He's not going to get there. Maybe got back to the line. That's it. He took a shot. Or maybe about 3 of them. Armand Nance helps him up.
That was Darian Thompson again, flying off the edge, sacrificing his body. Gotta love it.
Good player.
Playing hard.
2nd and goal. Williams again tackled. And again, it's big number 40, Armand Nance.
And here's Boise State with a convincing lead. But their football character is really showing up. They are still playing hard. They are defending every blade of turf or grass.
3rd and goal. Cougars, the play fake, Stewart into the end zone, touchdown. So Christian Stewart looking a little like Taysom Hill there.
That was such a big part of their offense as a quarterback run game with Taysom. And so the offense has had to evolve and find out what Christian does well, how the other players have to play better around him as well.
Yeah, number one, Stewart is not Hill. Number two, you have no depth now at quarterback. The backup quarterback is a defensive player.
Yeah, you can't run him because you can't put him at risk.
So if he takes hits, if he's out, they're going to a safety to take the snaps on offense. But Christian Stewart here using his legs into the end zone. A little too late tonight for BYU. College football tomorrow night, and it's a big game in the SEC. Number 3 Ole Miss, number 24, and I think quickly improving LSU in Death Valley, 7:15 Eastern on ESPN. A real test for the undefeated Rebels.
In a very tough environment.
Tough place to
that
play.
Place at night, it's crazy.
Here at night, yeah, it could get crazy. It can also get a little goofy.
Yeah.
It's safe to say there will not be dancing potatoes in Baton Rouge tomorrow night. A little pooch, sort of different style onside kick, and well guarded by Boise State. They will get the ball back. For more on that SEC matchup, let's go down to Allison Williams.
Heather Cox will be on the sidelines for that matchup, and she told me today Ole Miss knows that LSU is unlike any other team they have faced so far this year. The Rebels' athletic D has done well against spread teams, but they've yet to see a team that runs it up the middle the way the Tigers do. So LSU looking to attack them with the stable of running backs. Les Miles saying he hopes to surprise Ole Miss a bit by running out fresh legs for 4 quarters.
All right, thanks, Allison. And we appreciate the info from Heather, who has traveled from here. She's a Boise resident to Baton Rouge for that game. Ryan Finley, the backup quarterback, is in for the Broncos. And the second-string running back gets the carry. Devin Demas. So the final 5 minutes, and Boise State is going to let some of their second-line offensive players take a crack at going over 600 yards of offense. A lot of those courtesy of number 9, Grant Hedrick.
Hedrick has done such a great job here tonight and has continued to get better through the course of this season. He's doing everything they ask their quarterback to do. That's protect the ball, complete the ball, and lead your offense.
He had the one interception, which was a mistake, but also a really good play by BYU's defense.
That throw happened so fast.
Hand off, and Demas is going to try to bounce this one left side. Can he get to the corner? Yeah, he can. And to the sideline, pushed out of bounds, first down. So the sophomore from Houston showing a little something.
Showing some track speed there.
You think back, you're talking about Grant Hedrick and Jay Ajayi, who has had a career with a lot of highs and some lows with his own turnover, fumble problems. But Hedrick had such a rough game at Air Force. 5 interceptions in the road conference loss. And since then, he just has played so much better for this Boise State team.
Well, Mike Sanford and the coaching staff challenged him to protect the football, to take charge of this offense. He's done just that.
And Finley up the middle. Finley didn't want to try to outrace the defense, so he goes down. Now Finley, I think he thought he was going to be hit from behind. The senior approves. 21-yard scramble.
Redshirt freshman from Phoenix.
And Ryan Finley, he's got a lot of talent. The Boise State folks telling us, man, he reads defenses. He understands the offense. Very cerebral quarterback. He could use a little bulk, a little muscle.
Still young guy. He'll fill out a little bit,
yeah,
but he's just kind of a rangy.
We're talking about those plays over 10 yards, 10 or more yards. How about over 20? 9 different 20-plus yard plays for Boise State. Demas, good running for him. As Boise State just wears out this BYU defense. Hedrick over 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. Ajayi 2 touchdowns, up over 100. And Thomas Spurbeck, who feels like an emerging star at wide receiver, 6 catches, 148 yards, and he got to the end zone.
You know, it's how they've had to make up for Matt Miller being out for the season as well. He was such a big part of their offense. And as a quarterback, that becomes your safety net. So now these other guys have had to step up. You start spreading the ball around a little bit more. And Spurbeck's a big part of that.
Yeah, he's still out on the field. Number 82, converted high school quarterback, learning the receiver spot and learning it well. 2nd and a yard to go, and they did not get there. It'll be 3rd down and short. Final 2+ minutes here from Boise. Thomas Spurbeck, last week, the old high school quarterback, threw for a touchdown. One of those plays in the bag of tricks.
Completed 2 passes.
He did. He was 2 for 2 with a touchdown.
And you know what's even more amazing is he pulled one down, decided not to throw it, and ran with it. That's a sophomore that has some moxie to him.
But this could be the last real play from scrimmage. If they get a 1st down, I don't think BYU is going to call any timeouts. Boise State can just take a knee if they want and finish the game. They're going to pitch it out to Demas, who cuts it upfield, and he will get the 1st down. Not by much, but he gets the 1st down. And if the Broncos won, that can essentially end this game. And I think a really impressive performance by Boise State.
In all 3 phases, and Bronco Mendenhall had mentioned that at halftime. They outplayed us.
Now BYU gets 30 points, but a pick 6 plus a safety, only 322 yards of offense, outgained almost 2-1, 641 for the Broncos. The most points that BYU has given up since back in 2007. So it's been a while since a team lit up the Cougars defense like this.
And that's 4 losses in a row to a program that is used to winning a lot of football games. So it's tough around there right now.
I mean, BYU has got a lot of work to do. A season that has been derailed largely by injury, but the huge expectations and things just not going well for the Cougars right now. Most points scored by Boise State this year. If you like the over in this game, you were happy. You were happy at halftime. We saw some offensive fireworks, and Brian Harsin and Bronco Mendenhall will shake hands as the final 20 seconds tick off the clock. This rivalry grows here in the Mountain West region. They're going to play each other every year for a long while. This one goes to the Broncos.
Yeah, it should, and this will continue. You know, both these teams, both programs win a ton of football games. It should be great to watch over the years.
So what a performance by Grant Hedrick and company. Boise State on the blue gets it done here at home. They are 6-2 now. Overall, 4 straight losses for BYU. 55-30 the final score for David Diaz-Infante, Allison Williams, and our crew. Dave Fleming saying so long here on a Friday night in Boise.